That was the best practice we had offensively the entire camp. I thought in particular our quarterbacks really had some good moments. Tyrod, we had the kind of the zone read day against the defense, and he was spectacular at running that as we would expect. We had a 2-minute. I thought both guys, Castle had overcome a penalty in the first play, offensive pass interference, had a 1st and 20, but actually overcame it. Got us down, would have been a long field goal attempt. Tyrod drove his unit down into a very, would have been a pretty much a chip shot field goal. And then EJ closed it out with a long touchdown pass. So I thought all three of those quarterbacks did a nice job in a 2-minute. And overall, just we put in a lot more things. You can see the running game took off a little bit. Shady was, very dangerous, obviously, when we get him out in space. And you saw that a little bit today. So I was really pleased with the offense and the way those things, guys are coming around. Sammy got a little nicked up. We don't think it's that big a deal. I really don't know what it is, guys, to be honest with you. But because of that nobody really told me, I don't think it's too severe. All right. We will always err on the side of caution right now. Also going to be taking reps from guys, some veteran players as we get going here, just to protect them, save their legs a little bit. So you're going to see, don't be surprised, you see Kyle Williams get a day off, Mario Williams get a day off, Percy Harvin, guys that are really working out there, running a lot, Fred Jackson. So we're going to start trying to set these guys back. It won't be anything from an injury standpoint. It's just that we want to keep them fresh. So look for that in the near future as well. But I'll go ahead and open it up for questions.
EJ specifically looked like he had his best day out there, Rex. What's the difference when he has his good times versus bad times? Is it confidence, something mental? Is it something physical? What does he do different?
Well, the only thing I notice is physical. When he does have his best day, we're able to move the football, and and he looks good, obviously. So I don't know about the other thing, what's between his ears or anything else, but clearly I wouldn't disagree with you. I thought he had a good day today, and I thought Tyrod in particular had a good day. That's back-to-back really good days for him.
You get a sense the guys are looking forward to having some contact on Saturday. Feel like that?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. You always want to, the first time when you're really a live scrimmage situation. Now, we'll probably do some live hitting tomorrow just to get to where they've carried the pads and hit on grass a little bit. But it may only be a drill, one drill. But this is going to be, we're going to get the equivalent of maybe, I would say at least 18 possessions. So this is going to be a real deal on Saturday.
You structured that? Is it going to be a punt? Is it going to be like 10-play series?
Well, we'll punt, but it won't be like, we're not going to be, doing, punt returns or whatever. We may simulate and just fair catch the punt, but we will do that. It'll always end on a kick of some fashion, the drives. But pretty much you're going to put the ball down, let it go. And we'll have officials out there. So it's going to be close to the real deal.
Was Quancho limited at all today? I know he was out there.
He was a little limited today, but, he was out there quite a bit, so it's good to see. He's probably not 100%, but he felt good. He wanted to practice today.
I saw you working him at left tackle a little bit. Are you trying to sort of cross-train those guys at this point?
Well, you always do. Sean Trell's gotten some left tackle reps as well, and we feel pretty good about Cordy. However, you've got to be concerned with, in case he breaks a chin strap or something.
Coach, Kyle Williams, a little tight end today, looking to get some plays with him.
Yeah, and the tight ends, they're, sometimes you can be little babies. They're all upset because they're not, why are you putting Kyle in there? Well, because he's going to block somebody. So that's probably the real reason. And I said, look, outside of Mulligan, I don't see anybody blocking anybody. It's all they were going today. So I had another word with him or two. And then, but the long touchdown pass by EJ, I was impressed by that, and the throw was good and all that. But the thing that impressed me was Nick O'Leary blocking the end. He was one-on-one on defensive end. He blocked the heck out of him. So, that was I was more impressed by that.
On that note, can you assess behind Charles at tight end? These guys are rotating every day. It seems like there's a lot of guys there. They're fighting for spots. Can you assess how that's going? All of them.
Well, it's going pretty good, and we have a lot of there's guys that have a lot of ability there. We got some guys that can run. We got some guys that can catch it. We got some guys that can block. So it's a good combination. And you're right. You're gonna have to earn it to get playing time on the field. It's a deep group.
Hey Rex, I spoke to Andre Reed a little bit today, who by the way looks
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
And just trying to get the feel for what he has given some of these young guys. I don't know in terms of whether it's technical stuff, perspective, what this place was like when times were really good.
I think he's added all those things that you mentioned. You articulate it much better than I would, but I think he brings that, to his presence here, brings that. And then Sanjay Lal is about as good a receiver coach as there is. So you put that in there with the way Sanjay is as a coach, because every receiver that you talk to will talk about Sanjay Lal, every single guy. But Andre brings that perspective. Here's a Hall of Fame player that was a Buffalo Bill, so he gets it. He's been in the community. He understands what it's like here, and the fact he's pretty darn good at his position. So obviously he brings that kind of presence, to the group.
Where would you say Eric Wood is at first?
I like where he's at. I think he's got a good grasp of what we do, our system and things. I think he does a good job of communicating, and he's a pretty talented guy. Obviously a first-round pick, so it's not surprising he has that talent. He's been around a while now. I always was impressed with him, going up against him, but you see it firsthand. I'm glad he's my center.
You as a defensive guy find yourself playing scrimmages?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm more of an offensive guy these days. But no, I just want to see great competition, and I want to see. Obviously, you want to see guys get healthy, but it's way more than that. You want to see guys compete and see what happens. See who rises to the occasion. See who's maybe you think one thing and maybe your opinion of them changes. But that's what this thing's going to be all about. We may have some ideas, but until you snap it for real, then you're going to find out a lot more about it.
Rex, you did some free safety work today. Williams was in there with Corey Grant and Aaron.
That's the way we practiced it in the spring. Actually, when we had Duke and back there at safety, but that's kind of how we ran it. So we just put it in there that way. But with us, we're going to have several groupings, so it doesn't matter whether it's Duke going in there, whether it's you mentioned Corey Graham, whoever. We're going to have to where they're coming all over the place. We're going to take advantage of our roster, what we have. We know we're deep at safety. We're going to play all of them.
Any update on the owners at all? Do you, as a day-to-day thing, where you keep getting updates on that, or are you just kind of wait and see?
It's a little more severe than that, guys. Obviously, he's in a protective boot right now. He's not that healthy, but we have to move on. And when Leotis is ready, it'll be great to get him. We can't miss a beat. You're playing corner, you got to step right up. And there's where Darby, in my opinion, has had a really strong camp. And Gilmore's obviously one of the best corners in the league. So, we're pretty good at corner, even without Leotis. But obviously, we can't wait for him to get back. With that being said, but injuries are part of this game, and the next man has to be ready to step up. And quite honestly, I think Darby is.
We're within a month. Are you worried he's not going to be back for the regular season?
Well, I know he's going to be back at some point. I can't tell you if he's going to be back the first game or whenever, but it's a significant injury. At some point, there was had a little something in there. No, this is in over the summer, so it wasn't. We thought everything was on track, and with a lot of these type of injuries, things like this, you have some setbacks, and he experienced a setback. I'm not sure about what the technical thing would be, but I will say he possibly had a procedure. But it's this is not going to keep him from playing this season. He will play this season, so it's just When he's going to be available, I'm not real sure.
You talk a lot about Marquise Goodwin and the OTAs and camps. They said has he carried it out over here? Can you assess his camp so far?
Well, he's had his moments. He's had a couple of big moments and things. Had some that I wish he'd come down with, a couple of balls, but he looks pretty good, and he brings that great speed to this team. And like I said, we had to change our rules on passes just to extend it by 5 yards because he has that kind of speed, world-class speed. Not as fast as James Trapp, as James will tell you already, but his times. But either way, I mean, he's pretty darn fast.
Rex, you mentioned Mulligan.
Couple more
is he
guys.
kind of the perfect blocking tight end for the system you guys want to run on offense?
I don't know if you can say a perfect blocking tight end, but he's pretty darn good. He is a big physical guy. He's close to 280 pounds, strong as an ox, like deadlifts like 600 some pounds. He'll give you if you ask him, he'll tell you exactly. It's 653 pounds, whatever. One of those guys, big old meathead guy. He's a great kid, from Maine and things. I had him with the Jets, and we lost a lot when his presence as a blocker is pretty impressive.
He's coming off a wrist injury. What made you feel comfortable bringing him back again?
We actually never signed him initially right out of the gate until he became healthy, and then we physicaled him. He was fine, and I think part of that was lifting all the weights I'm talking about. I don't know if the body's supposed to handle that kind of weight that he can push.
Rex, how do you think Rashawn
I mean, he looked average. We all know. I mean, he's there's only one or two or three guys at max that could probably make the runs that he makes. He shows patience. He shows timing. He shows speed. He can jump cut. He can do all those type of things and run with surprising power. So nothing he does is going to surprise me, in a good way. He's really, we're happy we have him. Let's just put it that way.